Awesome. Good morning, and thank you for joining me on our very first webinar or seminar, webinar, whatever it is, on forgiveness. This is the first of many to come, trust me. God has so much in stock for us, especially on this topic, forgiveness. Awesome. So just drop in the comment section, let me know where you're joining us from. And so I can give you a shout out, your first name and where you're joining from. All right. I see you, Vicky Best from New York City. I love you, girl. Thank you for joining me today. You look amazing. All right. Just a second. Okay. I'm just going to share my screen now. Okay, please let me know if you can see my screen. Because of time, we're just going to go straight into the presentation. Awesome. This is amazing. Let's talk about forgiveness with Princess Dorcas. Awesome. So, before we go through the presentation, I'm just going to, this is all we are going to be talking about today, okay? First, I'm going to tell you a little bit of who I am, then we'll talk about what is forgiveness, why is forgiveness important in this day and age, examples from the Bible, from people that forgave, in the Bible, the benefits that comes with forgiveness, the dangers of unforgiveness. Then we'll talk a little about my new book, and that will be the end of the presentation today. Don't worry, we're not going to be here for long. I know you want to probably go back to bed or go out. It's Saturday anyways. Awesome. So my name is Princess Dorcas. I consider myself to be a multi-potentialite. That means I've got so many interests and so many pursuits, and I'm currently on the journey of bringing that to light, expressing that, sharing it with a larger audience. And that is why we are here today. I am a recent author. I joined the author club. I released my first book titled Forgiveness earlier this month. And okay, ministry and assignment. I host a prayer channel on YouTube. It's, if you go on YouTube, search for Princess Dorcas, you see me right there. We meet every day, 7 a.m. to pray. If you are not able to, probably because of your time zone or anything, you can join or watch the replay. It's always there. It will be a blessing to you. I also run a word and worship experience, more like yearly. It's called Worship Room. The replay of this year's own is on YouTube. No, last year, sorry, the last one. We've had two already, so it was last year, December. Okay, there's Evolve Clan, which is the mother of this movement on forgiveness, sorry. And the message is centered on forgiveness. It's all about forgiveness and why it is important, how we can, make it a thing of a lifestyle, basically, how we can make forgiveness a lifestyle, because trust me, it is. What am I missing out? Oh, Made for More conference, also a yearly conference platform where we talk to you about your makeup as a human being. There is more to you than just, going to school, earning money, working, and all of that. You are created for purpose. You are a creator. You're created in the image of God. So it's more about purpose finding, self-finding movement. Okay. All right. So straight on to the topic of today. What is forgiveness? Forgiveness is the art of forgiving, or the willingness to forgive, according to Cambridge Dictionary. Forgiveness is to forgive is to stop blaming or being angry with someone or something that person has done, so you don't punish them for something they've done. And before we even go further, let me just go a little back to how forgiveness became a thing for me. Growing up, I had so much going on with myself. Hey, someone is joining in. Hello, thank you for joining. Please let me know in the chat where you're joining us from. I love you. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Awesome. So when I was growing up, much younger, I had life happened to me. Okay, there were things that happened to me that were out of my control. I couldn't do anything about it. And so rather than holding grudge with myself and to whoever and whatever created the situation, today I'm not going to be too much into that. God had to start dealing with me personally, and I had to forgive myself for what happened to me. Let's see what's happening in the chat room. Where's my course of work? All right. Okay. Please tell us where you're joining us from. Let's know where you're joining us from. Okay, enough of that. And then next thing I had to deal with on forgiveness was with my mom. Growing up, we had it against each other, all right? And so God had to teach me to forgive her for everything that was happening and all of that. And it became a thing when I noticed the peace that came from letting all the anger, all the resentment, I had to let go. And so the freedom that came with it, the lightheadedness, like, I don't know how to describe it to you guys. It was a thing for me. And then over time, I'll have people speak to me about what is going on in their life. And I began to notice that 8 out of 10 people that I speak to have, a piece of them hurting, a part of them that had gone through life had happened to them, and they're in pain and all of that. And so the topic forgiveness began to come up often and often to me. And then I began to realize that one thing, when a topic or something becomes highlighted to you and is not obvious to everyone around you, it's destiny's call, it's God's call to you to fix that situation or to do something about it. And so I picked it up and I worked with it for a while. And, with people that were close to me, we talk about it and letting go and all of that. And recently, it still won't leave me, So I decided to heed to the call, and that was what gave birth to Evolve Clan, and that is what brought us here. Okay, so let's continue with the presentation. Please let me know if you can see the slides. All right, next slide. Oh, don't go too far. So forgiveness is the art of pardoning someone for, it's still loading. Let me know when you can see it. Let me stop it and then share again. Can you see it now? Let me know if you can see it now. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Now I need to get this chat off my face that I can see my cursor. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to take out the chat room and it's not going. Okay. There you are. All right. So forgiveness is the art of pardoning someone for a wrong they've committed, whether intentional or intentional. It involves letting go of anger, resentment, and any desire for revenge instead choosing to show compassion, mercy, and love to the person who has wronged you. It's basically just letting someone go. When someone wrongs us, we tend to keep them in our hearts, and we tend to begin to wish them evil. We try to work towards revenging and trying to pay them back for what they did to us. But forgiveness is just pardoning them, letting them go. And one thing I'm beginning to learn with forgiveness this day is to forgive those people or those situations that would never come to ask you for forgiveness. That's another thing entirely. We get there some other time. Okay. Next slide. Okay, forgiveness is an important thing in the Bible. It reflects the true nature of our God, of Him being loving and merciful. We are here today, because God forgave us. We sinned from the beginning when Adam and Eve, our first parents, fell. And then God provided grace, mercy towards us. And that is why we have the life that we have now. Forgiveness is necessary for personal growth and spiritual growth. It is essential for maintaining healthy relationship with others. Forgiveness is not only for the person being forgiven, it is also for you. Like I shared earlier about myself and my journey in forgiveness. It brought me peace. It freed me up. It began to open doors that were closed to me. And then when I saw the goodness of living a forgiving life, before someone offends you, before someone does you wrong, you already forgive them because they are limited, they are human. Okay. So examples from the Bible in Matthew 18:21-35, please do well to read the scripture so you can get a full picture of that story in the Bible, or the parable in the Bible. There was this unmerciful servant who could not pay his debt to his master, and so the master forgave him. And just as he left the presence of his master, he went ahead, and then he met someone that was owing him as well, and he's unable to pay. And rather than him extending the forgiveness that he had received, he refused. He just locked the other servant or said, until you pay me back, I'm not going to release you and whatnot. And so when the other servants saw what he did, they went to report to their master, and their master locked him up for not extending the arm of forgiveness to another person. Another story. This is the greatest one. Apart from Jesus's forgiveness story, this is the greatest in the Bible, to me, anyways. The story of Joseph the dreamer. From his young age, he began to see, into what God was going to do with his life. And, sharing with his brothers, they became resentful of him. Out of jealousy, they sold him into slavery and all of that. And later on, he found himself in the palace. And when famine came upon the land, they traveled to where Joseph was. And please read the scripture so you understand the full picture. And he had to forgive them. Another story, an example in the Bible is that of Job. Job, suffered a lot. Oh, it's not in the slide, sorry. Job suffered a lot, went through, because the devil was trying to test his faith. And then his friends came, instead of them to, support and encourage him, he's going through a lot. They began to point fingers and accuse him. And so when God turned the situation around for Job, he had to forgive his friends and he had to pray for them. If he didn't forgive, he didn't pray for them, they were just going to remain in the state they were. So that's from the Bible. Okay. Benefits of having a forgiving heart. First, it brings you closer to God. It's central to our relationship with God because as He forgives us, we are supposed to forgive, just like we see in the Lord's Prayer. All right? It's central in our relationship with God. Forgiveness of our sin is the key part of the gospel message, anyways. And we are called to forgive others just as God has forgiven us. Forgiveness can help us grow closer to God and experience His love and grace more fully. Forgiveness brings a sense of personal growth and transformation. Forgiveness can be powerful and transformative experience. It allows us to let go of the past and move on towards a positive way. It helps us to grow as individuals and becoming more understanding and compassionate towards others. Just like I shared in my story earlier at the very beginning, it opens you up to this other person that you're dealing with. It opens you up to the possibilities of new relationship. Because when you hold on to unforgiveness, when you hold on to resentment, it blurs your vision when it comes to the current relationship and the people that you're dealing with. Now, you begin to expect them to hurt you like the other person did, and all of that. But when you release, when you forgive, you begin to have a compassionate heart. You begin to give grace even before you are asked. You begin to, show passion, give pardon also, even when they can't see they are wrong and they are not going to even ask you to forgive them. You see? Also, it brings to you peace and contentment. It brings a sense of peace, like I shared with you. When I began first with forgiving myself, forgiving my mother, for the clashes we had when I was much younger, I sensed the peace. I sensed I could feel free. I could experience life, all those negative emotions. And, when you encounter new people, there's that pain. Or when you see something similar to, or maybe not even similar to what the other person did to you, you begin to expect them to hurt you the same way. And it affects your new relationship with people. Yes, thank you. Transfer of baggage. Transfer of baggage. Thank you, Vicky, for that comment. All right. Where were we? Okay, so it brings us to the new improved relationship. It helps you to repair the damaged relationship and helps you to strengthen the relationship with that been damaged by the conflict or the hurt or whatever the person did to you. Okay, when we forgive others, we let go of anger, we let go of resentment, we let go of those negative emotions. There was a study, I'm just going to digress a little. There was a study with plants, and then they said that they had an experiment with two different plants, and to one, they were told to speak negative, to think negative of that plant. And to the other plant, they were told to, speak positive, speak beautiful things about that plant. And over time, the one that got the negative comment and negative thoughts, the plant began to die. And the other plant that received, the positive comments, the positive inflow of thoughts and all of that began to blossom and flourish, and it became more beautiful. Okay, then they swapped it around. Okay, to this plant that is now dying, begin to speak positive into it. And to the other one that was like perfect and okay, begin to speak negative. And the reverse was the situation. So when it comes with our relationship with people and dealing with people, it's the same thing. When you begin to think evil about someone, think evil, about people, you have bitter thoughts towards them. When you see them, achieving great things or doing things, you see them smiling or happy, you begin to feel like, oh, right now, I just want to kill you and all of that. It affects them. And guess what? It also affects you. because you're not able to grow, you're not able to experience life, you're not able to experience love. Whatever it is that God has deposited in this other person, you're not able to partake of it because of that barrier that you've created in your heart. Okay, so if you have someone that you've got grudge, please release them for your own sake also. Dangers of unforgiveness. It damages relationship. It damages relationship. It creates tension. It limits you from, like I said earlier, enjoying the gift and the blessing of this person. Trust me, God created us to have a relationship with one another. And so when we harbor unforgiveness, when we have resentment towards other people, we are not able to benefit of whatever it is that God has deposited in them for us. Just imagine you're in the world all by yourself. You will not be able to eat, for example, because the food that you have, somebody had to go to the farm to plant it. The superstore that you buy your groceries and all of that, somebody had to set that up. No, the car you drive, the house you live in, it involves other people coming together, other materials coming together to form these things and to give us the life that we have. So it's boring to be an island. It's boring to be by yourself. It's boring to live in isolation. All right. And then let me also at this point say that forgiving somebody doesn't mean that you open yourself up to that opportunity or to giving them that opportunity to hurt you again. No. You forgive them and then you manage your relationship with them. I don't know why I'm saying this at this point. You create boundaries with this person. You know, oh, this person has this tendency because of their frame of mind. They think this way, they act this way. And so you create that wall. Not cutting them off, but creating that boundary so that they don't hurt you again. All right? I don't know why I had to share that, but God is speaking to someone, I believe. Okay. It also affects your mental health and your physical health. Trust me. High blood pressure, diseases come in your body when you harbor negativity. Your immune system is weakened. I've been there. I know. And I've seen the before and after. And trust me, it pays to just live freely. Live freely. There's a passage in the Bible that I began to, adopt as my motto. As much as it lies on me, I'm paraphrasing, as much as it lies on me, I live peaceably with all men. Does that mean people are not going to hurt me? No. Does that mean people are not going to be the human that they are? No. But as much as it lies on me, as much as I have the power to control, I live in peace with them. Okay? So for us to enjoy the sound health, especially in our mind, we need to live in forgiveness. We need to forgive. We need to let people go. All right? Oof. That's the end of this little presentation on forgiveness. Trust me, we're going to have more sessions where we'll even have more people join on the platform and share about their own journey in forgiveness. This is just more like a scratch on the surface, more like an introduction. It's our very first. So we are testing the waters, and this is me embracing courage and coming out of my shelf. So thank you so much for being here with me. Just a quick one. I am a recent author, like I mentioned earlier. My book is called Forgiveness. And, it talks more about forgiveness on a broader scale that we did today. So it's available on Amazon. You can get it as a Kindle version. You can get the hard copy as well for just a piece of little money. It's also available on Okada books for those in Africa or in Nigeria. You can get it on Okada books. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is the end of our beautiful times. Yay. So let me hear from you in the chat room. Did you learn something? Did it spark up something in you? Let me know in the chats. Thank you, Miss Vicky. I love you. And this other person, JK. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't get to pronounce your name. I don't want to moderate. Yeah. Yes. Forgiveness is important in our day, man. Sarah. Okay. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for joining me. You said Sarah Jakes, maybe. Wow. Girl. I received my comment, but yeah, you're welcome. Sarah Jakes, wow. Girl. I mean, it's possible, anyways. It's very, very possible. Okay. So, again, I would announce when next we'll be meeting, and we'll go deeper on the topic of forgiveness. And it's going to be more like a series, so we'll continue from where we stopped. This is more like a scratch on the surface introduction. And then over time, we begin to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper in it. Thank you once again for joining me today. I love and love you. Let me stop sharing my screen. Awesome. Do have a lovely day. Or if you're going back to bed, have a lovely night rest. Thank you. Bye-bye.